Hey guys, it's Sign here with HobbiesofaMan once again, and today we're going to be doing another comic book review. We're going to be looking at issue 6 of Thundercats, and this is by the same team as usual. It's Declan Shalvey, Drew Moss, Martina Piglidoli, and Jeff Eckelberry, right? And I think actually those two are changed from before, but Declan Shalvey and Drew Moss are back to do the main series again, and this is the start of a new arc, more or less, right? Because the previous two issues were... Well, the previous issue was actually a Chitara issue, right, with a guest writer, and this one is back to the main story, but this actually ends up being a Panthro chapter, so hopefully we'll get a Tigra issue at some point, right? But it follows Panthro as he goes out of their crashed ship in order to gather some resources. So he's on the Thunder Tank, he's driving through the desert in a classic, Thundercat image, and he looks awesome, and all of it looks great, and it's really cool. And he's looking back at the past, few weeks, I guess, of time that he's been, here on Third Earth. So basically, he's looking back at what happened in the first 5 issues, right? And he's realizing that, he was technically right in what he was doing. He realizes that it's confusing to deal with Lionel right now because he still has the skill level of a child, but he has the strength and appearance of a man. And the thought process of a man to an extent, right? But he's also kind of stunted emotionally because he still thinks like a 10-year-old, and so he's worried that he's not doing the right job in taking care of Lionel. And I actually really appreciate this. I think it's cool that Panthro is taking on this role of like a father figure type, which I always thought that he was, right? He was like the cool older guy that was part of the team that would provide help to all of them emotionally when necessary, and I really appreciate that this is being explored here, right? So yeah, but he was still wrong in the way that he did things, right? And so he's still smarting over the duel with Chitara and the fact that he lost, but he realizes that she's right, and so he decides that he needs time to himself, and so he finds a reason to leave that's actually really valuable and useful. He needs to go find something similar to one of the elements that they need in order to keep their base running, right? I think it's Thunderilium is what he's looking for, but he actually finds Thunderium, right? But he'll be able to synthesize Thunderilium from that, so it's okay. And so he's out looking for it. Then he's actually attacked by Vulture Men, and these are fun characters. I don't remember them from the original series, but I actually don't really have I have a lot of impressions and vibes of watching the original series, and I remember some things about the original series, but I don't really remember everything, right? It's not a series that I watched that many times in a row. I would just watch them once every couple months when I would go down to Mexico, right? Because that was the only thing that they had available at 10 a.m. And so I don't remember these characters, but the important character out of all of these Vulture Men is very reminiscent of the Vulture from the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, and I find that that's a bit of an inspired choice. I like that. I think it's fun. It's interesting. And it makes sense that these would be because they almost have something between an aviator and also a motorcycle gang vibe to them, and it works really, really nicely in the setting that we're kind of having here, right? This kind of Mad Max kind of vibe that I think is really, really cool, right? So they show up. They're very badass, and there's the sequence of Panthro having to fight them off on top of the Thunder Tank while it self-drives itself, and it's really cool. I love the fight scene here. It's very energetic, very kinetic. Drew Moss did a great job drawing this, and so he manages to hit the Vulture Man leader in the head. He gets knocked out. He ends up on the Thunder Tank, in the passenger side seat, and the rest of the Vulture Men scatter, and then Snarf shows up, and Panthro kind of laughs at this. He's like, "Oh, you knew I wanted to be alone, so you acted like you weren't here, but you were here with me just in case, and in case I might need help." And Snarf is like, "Yeah." Well, he doesn't talk, but he lets us know that he's affirming this. And then they manage to move to a specific location where they can park and they can kind of take their time to regroup. And at this point, they interrogate the Vulture Man, and they get some kind of general information out of him. Nothing too special, but Panthro manages to give him a very direct message, which is the Thundercats have no quarrel with your people. Please leave us alone, right? And, well, it turns out that this is not going to be the case because this bad guy, this vulture guy, turns out to be the leader of the vulture men. I can't remember his name. It's probably just Vulture Man because, yeah, Thundercats. And he says that he's going to eradicate the Thundercats and steal all their tech. And it turns out that Third Earth has actually been like a bit of a penal colony for Thundera, which is kind of odd and interesting. And I think that's a cool kind of twist to this. I don't remember if that's the case before, but Declan Shelby did talk about how he was changing some of the lore to make it a more interesting like space fantasy adventure, right? So that's pretty cool. I like that. Overall, this was really good stuff. There wasn't anything super like crazy or, you know, a huge reveal or anything like that, but this was a good issue of a character moment of developing Panthro and kind of getting us started. You know, we get to learn who the main antagonist for this little arc is going to be, probably, right? It should be him, the Vulture Man. We get to see that Panthro kind of has finally reset and he's ready to go back to the Thundercats, and that he's going to work on creating this home for them. And we don't know what's going to happen next, but I'm pretty excited about it. So overall, good issue. I liked it. There really isn't too much else to say, though. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys in the next video. See you guys later.